Love and action can have multiple meanings. It means that love is not just a feeling, but is actively demonstrated through concrete actions like kindness, support, care, and service towards others. Essentially showing love through deeds rather than just words. It can encompass various acts depending on the situation and the people involved, like helping someone in need, spending quality time together, or making sacrifices for another person's well-being. Love as an action can be expressed in several ways. For example, you may feel loved if someone spends the holidays with you or tries your favorite activities. Others might feel loved by favors, such as someone putting gas in their car's tank or buying them a snack when they're stressed. However, according to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., love in action is doing the right thing at the right time with the right spirit and in complete surrender to a power beyond our own. Even, and perhaps most especially, when the risks are very great. This kind of action is impossible without being radically in touch with that perfect love which casts out fear. Such risky action is impossible until we stop hesitating and give in to the authority of an invisible force that's driving us. Ask yourself the following questions. When have I seen someone express love in a sacrificial way? When have I personally experienced the love of others in a transforming way? When have I found it difficult to love others? When have I said I love someone or that I would do something for them but failed to act on my words? Many people have changed the world through love and action, including human rights activists, artists, and political leaders. Nelson Mandela, a South African anti-apartheid activist and politician, who was repeatedly arrested for seditious activities, finally was sentenced to life imprisonment for conspiring to overthrow the state. But amid growing fear of a racial civil war, President de Klerk released Mandela after 27 years of imprisonment. They then worked together to end apartheid, which resulted in the first multiracial general election where Mandela became president. He then created the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate abuses of civil rights. Cesar Chavez, a Mexican-American who first became involved with laborers by helping them to vote. And for 3 decades, he led the first successful farm workers' union in American history, achieving dignity, respect, fair wages, medical coverage, pension benefits, and humane living conditions, as well as countless other rights and protections for hundreds of thousands of farm workers. Now, most of us don't consider works of art becoming a catalyst for change outside of the world of art. However, one painting by Pablo Picasso became one of the best-known icons of all time. A Spanish artist, Picasso was a dominant and influential artist in the 20th century, known for pioneering Cubism and inventing collage. However, his image of a dove that was produced in 1949 was adopted as the symbol for the first World Peace Congress organized by the Communist Party. The image adorned posters promoting the Congress and was widely reproduced throughout the world. Over the next few years, Picasso produced countless more doves in a variety of styles, including the famous Dove of Peace, all of which confirmed his credentials as an advocate of international peace. Mahatma Gandhi was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political ethicist who employed nonviolent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule. He inspired movements for civil rights and freedoms across the world. It was the peaceful approach of Gandhi that inspired Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s nonviolent actions. You see, love is ubiquitous. It affects all aspects of life. It is a firm commitment to act for the well-being of someone other than ourselves. It can be personal or political, individual or communal, intimate or public. Love will not be segregated to the private, personal precincts of life. Dr. King's commitment to the moral ethic of love enabled him to envision and articulate a way forward that involved meeting violence and oppression with nonviolent resistance, combating real fear with profound courage, and confronting social evil with soul force. This love is not to be confused with the sentimental. It is creative, redemptive, goodwill toward all people, including, and perhaps most especially, one's enemies. In the depths of his being, Dr. King knew that returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And so, he chose the way of love in action, and that made all the difference. Now, you all are probably thinking none of us here wants to compare ourselves to Gandhi, King, and Mandela. But these men were ordinary, everyday citizens living their everyday lives until the time came when they felt compelled to answer a voice deep within that they couldn't ignore. Love is a commitment to seek the good and to work for the good and welfare of others. It doesn't stop at our front door or our neighborhood, our religion or race, or our states or our country's borders. Author Bell Hooks informed, and I quote, "We need to reclaim the concept of love, not as an abstract, all-embracing fantasy, but as a set of ethics, principles, values, and behaviors, a love that is justice in action. To begin by always thinking of love as an action rather than a feeling is one way in which anyone using the word in this manner automatically assumes accountability and responsibility. Culturally, all spheres of life, politics, religion, the workplace, domestic households, intimate relations, should and could have their foundation in a love ethic." End of quote. So, what does it mean for us as Unitarian Universalists in this perilous world we live in. A world where individuals in the highest offices of the land work to not only destroy democracy as we know it, but also have declared open season on black and brown people with or without documents. Folks in the LGBTQ plus community are in danger by their very existence. A world where the very people who stormed the Capitol declaring insurrection on our government are now free to walk among us, sending a clear signal to white supremacy that they are virtually untouchable. So much chaos, so much hatred and greed. What can be done? What will we do? What call will any one of us answer? The president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, reminds us that each of us is a vital part of this nation, deeply beloved and deserving of protection, safety, and belonging. As a community of faith, it is our work to encourage one another, to impart strength and confidence, to be bold in engaging the world around us, as well as what scares us internally. To give one another the confidence and heart to live as fully as possible. And I truly believe the way of love will show us the right things to do every single time. It is moral and spiritual grounding and a place of rest amid the chaos that is often part of life. It's how we stay decent in indecent times. In gathering up the fragments, Bishop Marianne Budd informs that we can't respond to everything, but with courage, we can respond to some things. Be strong. Do not fear. Live boldly. Love well. She continues saying, who knows if through our efforts, imperfect as they are, we might save another's life. Who knows? The life we save with our imperfect love may be our own. Love is a firefighter running into a burning building, risking their life for people they don't even know. Love is that first responder, hurtling towards an emergency, a catastrophe, a disaster. Like the folks who fought fires that destroyed the town of Lahaina on the island of Maui, Hawaii, and now in the devastated parts of California. Love is someone protesting anything that hurts or harms the children of the holy. Where selfishness excludes, love makes room and includes. Where selfishness puts down, love lifts up. Where selfishness hurts and harms, love helps and heals. Where selfishness enslaves, love liberates. The times we live in are perilous. Loving is not always easy, but like muscles, we get stronger, both with repetition and as the burden gets heavier. And it works. Real action is not about the absence of fear. It is the courage to look fear in the face and master it through love. Dr. King, by his own admission, was very often much afraid, but he chose courage, which he defined as, and I quote, the power of life to affirm itself in spite of life's ambiguities. This requires the exercise of a creative will that enables us to hew out a stone of hope from a mountain of despair. However, we can also draw from the lived experiences of the architecture of our churches, the music and hymns we invoke in worship, the patterns and habits of our lives, our organizations, and our histories. In interdependence, we honor the interdependent web of all existence, and we acknowledge our place in the great web of life with reverence and humility. Through pluralism, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. Through justice, we work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. And it is through transformation that we adapt to our changing world. Through our generosity, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. All of these actions are possible with the actions of love at the center. From my heart to yours.